What's going on, folks? So today I'm going to be talking about the new and upcoming album from Induction. The name of the album is Born from Fire, and it comes out this Friday, November 25th. But y'all know it now. Before I get into that nitty gritty, let's check out the cover. So boom, there it is. Take a look at that cover. Oh man, I dig it. It's so sick. It just looks really, really cool. There's like almost like an Egyptian kind of feel to it, like this Egyptian god of some kind or whatnot is in this like eternal flames or eternal fire. There's it's like snakes around, and it just looks really neat. There's light coming in from above as if, it's like down in a pit or something like that. Got a cool staff. And the colors, I just like the golds, the yellows, all of that. It's really, really neat. It catches the eye, and it just looks pretty awesome. This dude struggling in there, and it really, really cool. So yeah, as far as the look of it, oh yeah, I dig it. Does it give a good indication on what to expect on the album? If you're at the record shop, you're scrolling through, you see this, you're like, oh, that looks sick, but you never heard of the band before. So you buy it, does it, and you get home and you pop it in. Are you going to be surprised by what you hear? No, I don't think so. I think this does a really good job of conveying what to expect on the album. It just really kind of screams power metal. I could see it kind of being like on the heavy metal route too. But what I think really gives away the power metal is the design of the band name up there. Just because it has a little bit of a whimsy to it, almost like a fantasy kind of aspect, the way it's got all the curly lines and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it definitely gives you a good idea of what the album sounds like, or what style of music it is. So, oh yeah, A plus on both fronts. Aesthetically pleasing and giving a good indication on what to expect on the album. So, oh yeah, I dig the cover big time. This bad boy, it's got 12 tracks on here and comes in at about 57, 58 minutes, something like that. So it's a decent length album, but it's also got, the 12 tracks. It's just a really nice, it's under an hour, but you get a good bang for your buck, if you will. And yeah, this album, I'm just going to come right out the gate, is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I had really high expectations of it, but it actually exceeded my expectations. It was even better than what I expected. Now, one thing I will say, which I feel like is a little unfair, but I'll tell you why I'm saying it anyway, is at times in the album, there are definitely Beast in Black vibes. I don't see someone being able to listen to this album and not think of Beast in Black from time to time. Some moments, some songs more so than others, but just the rhythm, the vibe, the sound, even the vocals at times really kind of screams Beast in Black, especially from the Berserker and From Hell with Love albums. Not so much the more recent one, but it definitely has that energy, that vibe, that sound. Again, in spots. Not all the way through, but there's definite moments where you're like, oh man, wow, this really sounds like the Beast in Black, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, I love Beast in Black, and the reason why I say why I wanted to mention it, even though I will say I do think it's unfair. Like I guarantee you, it's inevitable. There's going to be comparisons, especially for certain songs, to Beast in Black. But I feel like it's unfair because there's a lot more to this album than just that. Yes, at moments it's definitely got vibes and influences of that kind of the Beast in Black sound, but there is so much more. This is not like a copycat or anything like that. So that's why I say it's unfair. It's just kind of like on the surface level at times. There's that kind of Beast in Black sound, but it goes so much deeper than that. To where that's why I say, I just don't think it's fair. Of course, it's gonna happen because yeah, I mean, there's definitely moments where it really, really has that sound, but it goes so much further than that. But So I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on that whole thing, because I know the comparisons are going to come up without a doubt. But it, again, they're in spots, but this album, it goes so much further than just, a little bit of a Beast in Black sound from time to time, because there's so much diversity on this album, so much that sets them apart from them. So again, it's just in moments, but it's definitely there. Anywho, so yeah, I mean, what you can expect from this bad boy. I mean, this is just some nice, energetic, symphonic power metal, and I put the emphasis on symphonic because the album is much more symphonic than I thought it was going to be. Oh man, it just the symphonic elements are just brilliantly done. It just really creates this bombast, this grandiosity, this epic feel, and it's utilized so perfectly to really emphasize moments, emphasize sections of the songs, or the feelings of the song, or the mood that it wants you to have, and just really expands the scope of the sound. Just absolutely incredible. I mean, you get like brass strings, just you name it, and it's just nuts, absolutely nuts. So yeah, the symphonic elements really, really blew me away, and really takes the sound to another level, and it's utilized so well that it just, oh, it's so good. So yeah, it's really just like a heavy symphonic power metal album. It's got a lot of energy behind it, and again, like I say, a lot of diversity. I'll get into that shortly, but the guitar work is just exquisite. I mean, the riffs, the melodies, the solos, just top notch. Everything, the musicianship here is just all top notch, all across the board. So, like, I'm just gonna be brief with that, because the drum work, absolutely stellar drum work. Everything's mixed really well. I love the sound of the drums, and it really mixes well with the rest of the sound. The bass, oh man, the bass work is so good here. I love when the bassist gets their due, because there are certain moments in particular throughout the album where the bass really gets to shine. And oh man, it's just awesome. These groovy, deep bass riffs. It's just awesome. But even when it's not like in the forefront, you can definitely hear it going. Um, and like I said, like the keyboards or symphonic elements, all that kind of stuff, just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. There's even some nice little piano melodies in here as well. So yeah, just musicianship all across the board is just absolutely phenomenal. A lot of energy, speedy at times, more deliberate at times, very heavy at times. You name it. When the song is just getting really, really grand and big, you feel it. You feel it in the music, and it just takes off. The vocals, oh, what a voice this guy's got. It just, again, the diversity, the range that he has, the different styles that he's able to deliver. Like I said, he's got at times a little bit of the Beast in Black sound, but again, there's so much more to him than that. I mean, he's just got a killer range. He can really um, bring it down and be more intimate, and he's got some killer, like, I wouldn't necessarily call them growl vocals, harsh vocals, I guess, but that's very sparing. I think only in like one song really is there that, but I was like, wow. I mean, he sounds great doing it. And he just got a range that's just unbelievable. His delivery, his nuance, just the way he's able to carry the melodies, and stand with the sound and the music, because it's so big, it's so explosive at times and grand. And I mean, he's just right there with it, just strong voice, just stellar. As far as the songs themselves, I mean, again, there's just so much to this album, and each song, even where there's several songs where there's like multiple movements throughout. It's like the arrangements are just done so well, and the songwriting, to where multiple songs like go through various stages, almost like you think you know the song, and you think it's just going to kind of be a certain way, but then it just kind of goes in a different direction, or takes off and gets grand, or or gets more solemn, or whatnot, and then swings back around and takes you off in another direction. But I wouldn't necessarily call it like progressive metal, because I mean, maybe a little bit. There's elements just with the nature of kind of how the songs shift, at times, but definitely not like your traditional progressive metal. So there's maybe a little bit of elements there, just in the arrangements and the songwriting, but as far as the sound, not so much. But yeah, so it just, every song just has its own like kind of life to it, and it's really really cool, to hear, and I consistently was just blown away, and just you stop what you're doing and you're just kind of like listening, because it's just, some of these songs are just so epic, and like I said, they almost have like a life of their own, and it's just really great. That's why I say this album, and the sound, and the music is just so much deeper, than I thought it would kind of be. Because like on the surface level, there's certain feelings that you get, there's certain influences that you can detect and whatnot. But as you're listening to the album and the songs, they really have their own personality, the band, and their own style. Even though they may have influences from various sources, or bands or things like that, they kind of take it all, and then they create their own thing, from that. And it's just really really intricately well done, again, from the songwriting perspective, and because like I said, some of these songs just feel like epics, even though they're not like 15 minutes long or whatnot. 5 to 7 minutes, and there's just so much in there, and it all just flows so well. So it just really, really incredible, how they do that. And so you get your really melodic, kind of speedy power metal. You get your grand, epic, bombastic, anthemic kind of moments, and then you get some kind of like ballad style moments. But all of this stuff is kind of woven together. Just really, really great. The track one, "Born from Fire," just really kind of kicks things off in more of a traditional sense, kind of a modern melodic, power metal song. But then you get track two, "Scorched," and in my opinion, that song is one of the most epic on the whole album. I really think this song is going to be a fan favorite. I think it's the longest song on the album. Yeah, 7 minutes long. Um, but this is the first song that really gives you an indication, I think, of what, uh, the full scope of what these fellows are capable of, and just the full scope of the album itself, because this song, it's just got so many different movements and arrangements, and and it's just epic. It's just absolutely epic. It feels kind of like a 7 minute journey, again, like through music, and the vocals, of course, but there's just so much to it, and it's sweeping, and it just takes you away. It's just epic. It's just absolutely awesome. And so, like I said, the first track is really good. I really like "Born from Fire," that song, but it's like they ease you in. It's like the first song is kind of like a safe space for the listener. Like, okay, here we go. This is kind of like a modern melodic power metal style song here. This is cool. This is kind of like what I expected. Um, but then it kind of drifts into track two, "Scorched," and it's like, no, no, no. There's a lot more to us than that, and this is, what we're capable of, and this is what you'll kind of get throughout the album. So it kind of eases you into it, and it doesn't just throw you to the fire. It's born from fire, but you're not thrown to the fire. Yeah, and let's see. Some of these songs, track 7, "The Beauty of Monstrance," is another one that's just very unique and very intricate and really, really well done. That's the song. This song gets like really heavy, almost in a spot. I wouldn't necessarily say like metalcore, but like kind of like a modern melodic death metal. I don't know. It's hard to say, but just in a spot, and it's like really, really cool. And this is the song I was talking about where he gets, kind of some harsh vocals in there, and it's just for a moment. It's not the whole song, but it just again just shows like their the lengths of their skill. The diversity that they can handle, both just musically, like playing it, and just in the songwriting itself. Ghost of Silence, track 10, is another one that it just has so much to it, where, it can be kind of somber and melancholic, almost ballad-like at times, but then it gets like into these sweeping like moments. It's just really, really wild. And track 11, Eternal Silence. I'm not gonna spoil like how this song is because I don't know if I've heard like a song quite like this on a power metal album before. It's just really, really cool. It's nothing like super like unorthodox. Like I don't want you to think they're like busting out like the banjos and kazoos and stuff like that. It's not like that. It's more subtle, but just the style of the song. It is just it's so tight. Like the way that they did it. It's so good. It's so good. I was just like, again, the album just continued to impress me all the way through, and then it ends with track 12, "Sacrifice," which, oh man, I love that song. It's one of my favorites of theirs. So just a really, really killer way to end the album. So yeah, I mean, and all the way through, you're getting kind of these different styles, but just interwoven within, each individual song, and then you get like a more traditional modern power metal song, and then you get kind of something that's got like the different parts to it, and it just really, really is quite the varied um, album, but just expertly done. Honestly, I would say this album's a masterpiece. It really, really is. They really outdid themselves here and are really showcasing their talent. And I think this album is definitely going to catch a lot of people's attention. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to love here. So much to keep jumping back in and trying to pick up on more. Like I kept listening to this bad boy, and I was just like, man, this is so cool. You kind of notice things about certain songs you didn't really notice before, and it's just epic, epic, melodic, just top-notch musicianship, killer vocals, just killer songwriting, great arrangements throughout, and this is just some awesome, awesome power metal. Yeah, really, that's what I got to say about it. It just exceeded my expectations. I think everyone who's liked any of the singles or anyone who likes power metal in general is just gonna have a ball with this thing. So. Anywho, that's Induction with "Born from Fire." Comes out this Friday, November 25th. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the singles that have been released. And then once you've listened to the album, come back here and let me know what you thought of it. Let's talk about it. And yeah, what an album. What an album. Like I said, these fellows have really outdone themselves here. So that's my thoughts on it, my 2 cents, if you will. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll catch you next time. Ranger, out.